So, welcome to today's film. And we're building today on a skill called pivoting that sits within that wonderful philosophy of psychological flexibility. And what that really means is our ability to have choice over how we're responding, where we're responding from, where we are in mind and body. And that's particularly where we're going to go today. So we're looking at the skill of pivoting back into this present moment, even if this present moment is difficult and this present moment feels like a bit of a struggle. The joy of this present moment is that if we settle into it and we experience it as it is, not as our mind says it is, we can also connect with the fact that this present moment will change and become the past. And there are plenty of future present moments to come. And some of those present moments will bring joy and happiness and contentment, and some of them will bring difficulty. But we will meet them all in the same way as the great guest house poem suggests, that we open the doors and we greet whoever comes in, because there's something to teach us and something to learn from every experience we go through. So let's have a look at how we pivot. So the very word, I think, suggests that sense of a seamless pivot. So it's actually a pivot from here to there, or from there to here. And if, for example, we find ourselves getting really stuck and worrying about stuff that might happen, it might be physical health problems. We find ourselves almost seeing pictures of ourselves getting ill. We see pictures in our minds, perhaps even of really devastating, sad things happening to us and to others that we love. And if we get caught there, we feel unsteady. I'm just going to go there now and just show you what I mean. So if I find myself here, and if I was doing yoga, it might be a bit like I was doing a plank, which most of us will know. But if you lean forward on the plank and you take your weight forward, it starts to feel wobbly and uncertain. And so we would pivot ourselves back to a central point where we're feeling solid and there is effort being expended, but we're back, exuding a sense of control and certainty over the movement that we've made. So if we're doing this psychological pivoting, we just take our head to there and okay, so I'm worrying about stuff that hasn't happened yet. Let's just go there for a while. Oh, and be curious. How does that feel? Oh, it feels uncomfortable. What's happening to my breath? My breath has become shorter. Oh, that's interesting. And there's a sense of hurry up, but also a sense that I want to stay here because if I look at it, it feels safer, strangely. But it's not working for me because if I'm here, I'm not present and I'm not seeing what's happening today and I'm missing opportunities. So let's pivot. And we just pivot our body and our mind together until we find, where is it? Got it. Back in this present moment. Ooh, and now, how does it feel to be back in this present moment? Yeah, that feels easier. Let me check my breath again. I'm breathing better, and I'm recognizing that being in this present moment is so much more workable than being stuck ahead of where I actually am. And what about, I hear you ask, if you find yourself stuck in stuff that's happened, the rear view mirror of life? And so we find ourselves stuck back there somewhere, and we take our head back, and that feels really, really uncomfortable. And we pivot, and we pivot, and we pivot, and we bring ourselves back to this present moment. And we notice that when we were stuck in the past, back here somewhere, it feels uncomfortable. It feels tight in my chest. I feel my hands actually gripping, and I feel that same wobbliness that I get when I do a exercise with my yoga, when I'm looking back and twisting and bending. Uncomfortable. I can stay there if I want to, but I'm going to choose to pivot out back into this present moment. And we can use our curiosity to notice how that feels and to become much better at using this in conjunction with the body scan and other meditations so that we become physically and psychologically aware of when we have found ourselves, listen to the words, found ourselves mindlessly behind or way in front of where we need to be. And what really seems to help is to add the physicality of the pivot into the process. Into the process. So today's pivot is the pivot back into this present moment. I hope you found that helpful. As always, on YouTube, there's places to leave comments. I really value that. And positive and negative and suggested different ways of doing it. They're all learning, aren't they? So thank you so much.